to all my faithful viewers, also known as a handful of family and friends. Welcome back. Any newcomers to the channel, I hope you like what you see and check back in from time to time. Today's video takes us to Barnwell Mountain Recreation Area, which is just outside of Gilmer, Texas, and according to Google Maps, about 3.5 miles past Wanda's Barber and Beauty Shop, just in case you want to get your hair did on the way out. This is the first chance we've had to get out and try our new Mickey Thompson tires off-road. We're also going to see if the ARB bumper mod improved stuffability in the front, and finally, there was a discovery of hidden damage I'll talk about at the end. One of the many things discussed on the internet is C's versus D's. Not in the way some of you pervs are thinking either. D-rated tires have a stiffer sidewall than C's, so they don't need as much air pressure. Since this was my first time playing with underinflated Ds, I was going to learn firsthand how they handled. Even though I'd asked a few folks what they air their 37s down to when they go off-road, I'd forgotten. So after we checked in, I swagged it and was trying for 14 psi. We accidentally went down to 12, but I left it there and I think it worked well. We've been to Barnwell twice before, and both times we found ourselves driving in circles. So this time, I did my best to come prepared. I had GPX files from Trails Off-Road downloaded into Gaia, and I knew the first trail I wanted to try was Green Lane Upper Half. This is the hardest one that the Trails Off-Road team had mapped out, which is not to say it's the hardest trail at the park because there's a bunch of trails they didn't do. Trails Off-Road has it rated a 5 out of 10, where I think the park has it a 4 out of 5.
That's
fun. Adventurous. Somebody shipped in Oklahoma's red dirt.
That is a little washed out. We might be rubbing.
It won't be the first time you've rubbed.
Anyways, Green Lane Upper Half. The exit, or what we were using as the entrance, had some deep washouts that I don't think we could have done without rubbing the side on the dirt wall, so I took the bypass. We still had to get across the washout, and this is where I decided going to four-wheel drive might be a good idea. The next obstacle worth mentioning is the ledge the Trails Off-Road says earns this trail its 5 out of 10 rating. I'm not sure when they came through, but it looks like it would take a more modified rig than ours, lots of skinny pedal, or at least a willingness to take some damage. So we bypassed this one too. In hindsight, we may as well have just skipped the lower portion of the upper half and came in here behind this standalone bathroom. Before going too far into the trees again, we jumped out to eyeball the trail. There were a couple of interesting downhill sections that were going to make the trail a little more fun. Next time I go out, I'd like to try going in the right direction. I think they'd be doable.
Easy. When we went to Colorado the first time on stock bills and popped a sidewall.
Yeah.
We were noobs.
Seriously noobs.
Oh, that was funny. It was a sharp. And you were going too fast because you're trying to look cool in front of all those people. Yes, you were. You were like, oh, I'm going to keep up with these other Jeeps. I gotta look
I
cool.
wasn't trying to look
And
cool.
my
I was
brand new
thinking,
Jeep
if
and my
they can
stock
do it,
tires.
if they can do it, I can do it. Because it was a rental Jeep or something. It was.
They stayed away from that pointy, sharp, wet
Well,
rock.
obviously they did.
And we were like, poof. Hit it.
Poof, poof.
And the tire was like, and I was like, oh, that's what you get for showing off, Bradley.
I wasn't trying to show off. I was gauging speed based on somebody else.
You know, if we had a thought for what was going in your head, I'm pretty sure you were like, yeah, I'm in my new cool Jeep and I can handle this. You know, like if you had one of those little pop-up, one of those pop-up clouds over there.
A thought bubble.
A thought bubble. It was like, dudes, look at me in my brand new Jeep. I'm going to fly through here and...
It's a Rubicon.
Yeah, and they were not in a Rubicon, but you just happened to like hit that spiky rock just right, and I mean blew that tire out. I was like, and I immediately was like, I'm pretty sure we're getting a flat, and you're like, oh no, and then it was just, you could hear that sound, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a flat. I'm
glad you're gaining additional enjoyment from that.
It is enjoyment because you were showing off.
I was not showing off.
Bradley, I swear, I could tell you even had like this like cool look on your face, like look at me. It's the truth.
I wasn't.
Mamas know.
I wasn't showing off.
We've been together 17 years. I know those thought bubbles. You're like, I'm a cool cat. In my Rubicon, I'm a cool cat.
You're being dumb.
I am being upfront and honest. It's okay. It's just the two of us. You can be real with me.
I'm glad I popped your tire.
I'm glad you popped it.
We did cut a sidewall on her Jeep the first time we attempted Poughkeepsie Gulch up in Colorado. It was just bad tire placement. Trust me when I say she was embellishing the story. Y'all have seen how she dogs my Jeep out. That alone should make you question her credibility. Eventually, we found ourselves on L&B Turnpike. There were a few kind of steep sections, but even my dad's bunk Ford Explorer would have made it. From there, the trail really narrowed down as we twisted around through the trees. There was even a spot where there was caution tape that had been left hanging.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there's no telling where we're at.
Yeah.
Finally, the trail opened up, and we found one last obstacle. This is where I really got to see how much I could stuff the 37s. And there's no way Dad would have made it down this. By the way, I've got no issue with Ford or Explorers except for my dad's. He likes talking smack on my Jeep, so I have to give him some grief back. It really wouldn't matter what he was driving. You see what I'm saying? Does that sound like somebody you should trust? Besides the modification of the bumper, I'd also added a 1/2-inch bump stop extension. Turns out I was still rubbing a little bit on the bumper, but also the fender liner up at the top, so I probably need more bump extension. The rear tires were also rubbing the fender liner on the trailing edge. The tire was trying to peel it up. I'm pretty sure the 35s would have cleared all the way around though. So when I got home, I used a torch to reshape that.
Good job. Hey, back tire's gonna touch in a minute. It's just hanging. Oh, there it goes. Okay, now you're gonna have a big boom.
Inside the Jeep, it sounded like the rear bumper was twisting and pulling away, but it came down on the def tank skid and then the Maximus 3 rear tow hook, so the bumper never even touched. I don't have any pictures of what I'd done with the rear fender liners, but it involves a few zip ties, so it's not pretty, but it should help. After I finished that up, I decided to look underneath. We'd been hearing a thunking noise since before our Indiana trip. When I had tried to find it before, I'd been focusing on control arms, shocks, other things that I'd bolted on. This time I looked higher up though, and I found both welds on the upper spring perch had failed. The noise we'd been hearing was that spring perch flexing up and tapping the underside of the floor in the cargo area. Not only did we drive from Texas to Indiana like that, on the way back we stopped and did a few trails at S'more before coming back home, and that was before we came to Barnwell. I took it to the dealership as soon as I could, and after a few days, the warranty folks said the service department would be doing a frame swap. Fingers crossed they don't have any issues and we're able to get back on the road soon. If you've got a Jeep, I'd recommend you take a few minutes to look at your own spring perches and make sure the welds look good. Because I'm at 2 years and 30,000 miles, and I'm telling you, this one's a total pavement princess.
Huh, and you call me a liar.